Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Stanislow, and you're listening to another episode of Let's Go Low here on AM 820 in Tampa every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Glad you could be with you. We're talking a lot of golf. We're talking golf business. We're talking PGA tours. We're talking caddy shop. We're talking behind the ropes. A lot of different things going on here on Let's Go Low. Today, our special guest is David Snee, and David is with Back Nine Golf and opening up a new franchise here in Carrollwood. David, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great.
So, David, taking a step back so our listeners can understand that, the journey to starting a Back Nine golf franchise up in Carrollwood. So you were in the military and you served for years. And then tell us a little story about that, and then we'll kind of get into what brought you to Back Nine.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for having me, Jeff. I served in the Navy for 27 years. I was a surface warfare officer, affectionately known as ship drivers. When I've served on 7 ships, I commanded 2. I commanded a destroyer out of Pearl Harbor and a cruiser out of Norfolk, Virginia. And when I wasn't doing that, I spent a lot of time at the Pentagon. My last tour of duty was here in CENTCOM. I retired 3.5 years ago or so, and I did a bit as a consultant. I ran a consulting company with a good friend of mine out of Orlando. And in May, I decided to walk away from the federal government and do something completely new and something that I had the time and space and resources to do something like this. And I love golf. I'm not that good at it. I'm a mid-handicapper. I'd like to get better.
Yeah, we all would like to get better.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But it's kind of weird. Like kind of the why Back Nine and that I can get to that later. But certainly, what you learn in the military, leading high performing teams. I spent a lot of time leading large organizations and people with huge budgets and things like that. And what you realize when you start your own business is you own it all. And so I'm the president and janitor. And I've learned so much the last 6 to 8 months in this journey before opening that, things I never knew it keeps me young and makes it exciting.
Well, that's fantastic. This is Jeff Stanislow. You're listening to Let's Go Low here on AM 820 in Tampa. We're talking with David Snee, the franchisee of Back Nine Golf, Carrollwood. David, that's a really interesting story that you kind of mentioned, and thank you for your service there in the Navy. And that's amazing, commander of a couple ships and what have you. And then just to kind of like, after retirement, just start something new. And I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I understand what it means to own the whole thing and be the CEO and the janitor at the same day. So it's quite an experience. What have you learned most, in this endeavor and opening up your the Back Nine Carrollwood?
Yeah, well, I think, you kind of learn through your setbacks. And so certainly, opening a franchise is different than your own shop. So you're certainly, there's some good and bad with a franchise, mostly good in my experience so far, but certainly there's rules you have to live by to keep the brand name healthy and strong, which we'll do. So in a lot of ways it helps, you kind of inherit a CRM system, marketing system, kind of a really up and coming brand. But you still need to follow the guidelines. One of the things I've learned early on in Hillsborough County was the permitting process. That set me back 3 months. So I had originally thought I'd open in February, so this month, but got set back on that. It's probably the biggest thing because I found a great location in Carrollwood, but the use case needed to be defined a little bit better. Indoor golf is a brand new concept, and so it's not something that Hillsborough County even really kind of understands.
They didn't have a code for indoor golf simulator. They
I'll
thought you
tell
were
you.
going to be like a golf course or a driving range or something like
Yeah,
that.
well, I think they thought maybe it was like an entertainment venue, like a bowling alley or an axe throwing kind of business. But I tell you what, finally talked to the right person in the county. He was fantastic. Really kind of worked with me to get to yes, and really great experience with the county helping me out with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. Uh, this is David Snee, the franchisee for Back Nine Carrollwood, which is opening up pretty soon on May 2nd, as a matter of fact. Grand opening May 2nd for the Back Nine Carrollwood. It's going to be basically right at the Dale Mabry and Bears, right behind the brand new Chick-fil-A. What a great location, David. So when you started saying, "Hey, I'm going to go on my own. I'm passionate about golf. I want to do something in golf," and you kind of started coming across the simulator world and what have you. Tell us a little bit about that journey and maybe why you selected Back Nine versus a different franchise.
Yeah, that's a great question. Really, I kind of credit my home course at Cheval for closing this summer. So in May, I walked away from my other business, and I decided to take the summer off to just evaluate what I wanted to do when I grew up, and spend more time with my family. In doing so, I thought I'd play a lot more golf, but Cheval was under renovation. They were bought out by Heritage Group, and so they closed it down for the entire summer. And so now I have a club that I can't play at. And so I'm Googling golf courses, and I'm Googling franchises. I'm getting smart on different franchises, just kind of building my, kind of ideas of what I could possibly do. And it's amazing how the algorithms work. They put golf and franchise together, and I started getting all kinds of golf franchise business opportunities in my feed. So I started to, I won't name the company, but I went pretty far down the road in another company that was very restrictive. They set prices nationally, and they used a different technology. In doing my due diligence, I found several other businesses, Back Nine being one of them. I got their FDD and read it and compared to several, and by hands down, Back Nine was a much better company, lots of flexibility. They also had over 100 franchises open, which is important for a franchise. Now they're over 200, and I think there's close to 400 deals in the works this year. So this is certainly the fastest growing indoor golf simulated company in the world right now. And so I went with Back Nine, and well, first I'll back up. I tested all the technology. So I went to Orlando and a couple other places here locally that had other technology, and frankly, I really like the full swing technology. This is the technology the simulators used by the TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League, that you'll see on ESPN. The time it takes for you to hit the ball to it being in the video game and in the simulation is the smallest I've seen in any of the other systems I use. It's almost instantaneous, which makes a big difference when you're playing and you're hitting several shots, waiting 2 to 3 to 4 seconds for the video game to catch up to your actual shot. There's a gap there in that integration. So I think it's important when you're playing indoor golf that that timeline is seamless. As soon as you hit the ball, you're in the game.
Right, right. I play some sim golf at the Heights Country Club, and I'm a member of Avila, and they have a TrackMan. And you're right. Something that when it comes down to that 3 to 5 second lag, let's call it, and getting the data and seeing your results, when you're paying by the hours, the difference between getting a full 18 in or really trying to push yourself to get it in, before your time is up. So it's fantastic. Back Nine is doing some great things. It seems to me like, as an operator of Navy ships, that this franchise gave you a lot of opportunity to do a little bit more operations and set your business and set your pricing and set, where the market demand is. Tell us a little bit about that TGL, and I think you guys are going to have some exclusivity with that. Makes it a little bit different for Back Nine golf franchises.
Yeah, that's right. So TGL uses full swing, and if you haven't watched it, TGL creates fictional golf courses and holes that all the major players play, and they're all challenging, and they have, some has volcanoes and cliffs and all this kind of stuff that you wouldn't ever see in real life. Super challenging, but fun to watch and fun to play. And so Back Nine has, in partnership with Full Swing, has exclusive rights to those courses. So right now, if you went to a Back Nine, you could play season 1 of TGL, and then soon, when season 2 is done, they'll drop those courses on us, and you'll be able to play, those courses as well. So it's super exciting. There's so much, and so to indoor golf. And by no means, I come across this all the time, and I'm an avid outdoor golfer as well. This augments outdoor golf. I think a lot of people think that this is in competition. When I see a guy at Publix, his wife's pushing the cart and he's behind her, like practicing his swing, because he probably hasn't gotten any reps and sets in a couple of weeks, or, has to wait for Saturday or whatever it is, indoor golf, you could be in and out in an hour, or you could, depending on the package you get, you could go up to 3 hours in a set time.
Right.
Right. You can go, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you join, you're a member, it's a membership based business. And so you reserve your tee time 15 minutes before that time. You'll get a notification on your phone that unlocks the door. You go in and you're playing golf instantly. And if you only got an hour, then you go in for an hour and you could be back, and you could certainly by yourself play 18 holes in an hour. But there's so much more than that. I mean, there's hundreds of courses you can play. Sure. and tons of, driving range, chipping, you name it, that you could work on to then just build your confidence and fine tune that swing, know your data. Every swing you get 16 plus, data points, plus a video feedback or on your swing, on your club, on how it impacts the ball. I mean, that data is just incredible. Right. For when you then go to play Avila or Cheval or Carewood Country Club, you go to play real life and you're better and you're more confident at your swing.
Fantastic. This is Jeff Stanislaw. You're listening to Let's Go Low here on AM 820, brought to you by Golfers Unite. And we're talking with David Snee, the franchisee for Back Nine Carrollwood, which is opening up May 2nd. And their location is right at the corner of Dale Mayberry in Bears Avenue, right behind the Chick-fil-A. If someone wanted to look at the stuff before, your website is up and running right now, you want to let them know how they can check you out?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on social media platforms, and we're on Instagram, B9 Golf Carrollwood, and then the Back Nine Carrollwood on Facebook, and then our really just Google Back Nine Carrollwood, and I'm the first thing that should pop up. Go to the website, and you could join my wait list. What we're going to do here in 2 weeks is start our Founders Club. And what I'm going to offer is a 20% discount. So this is the early adopters that know they want to do this, 20% off. So basically you get, I have 3 levels of membership, a par, and a birdie, and an eagle. And so you basically get a birdie membership for a par rates and a eagle membership for a birdie rate. But that'll start on the 24th of March. And so we'll run those out all the way until I open. So encourage everyone to, if you're interested, certainly jump on my website, get on my waiting list there, and I'll shoot all that information out to everyone on there. I've had quite a bit of interest, which has really encouraged me as a brand new business owner. A lot of interest in this area for the Back Nine.
Well, you're in a great location. I mean, you're between Cheval, Avila, Carrollwood, and the TPC. I mean, so you're in a great location there. We're talking with David Snee, the franchisee for Back Nine Golf Carrollwood, opening up May 2nd. Don't forget to let them know that you heard it here by Golfers Unite on the Let's Go Low radio show. So we'd appreciate that if you reach out to David and become one of his members. David, I mean, the whole sim world is growing like crazy. I was at the PGA show. It's probably the largest like new space It's really exciting to be a part of it. I look forward to playing some golf with you, not only in real life, but at Back Nine Carrollwood when it launches. Again, this is Jeff Stanislow, and this is a great episode to you, brought to you by Golfers Unite and AM 820 here on every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Also, you can go to golfersunite.com. We'll put this episode up on our website and link it to our YouTube channels as well. David, thank you. Have a great day, and we wish you all the best in your grand opening May 2nd of the Back Nine Carrollwood.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Low here with Jeff Stanislow, brought to you by Golfers Unite. We're broadcasting live today from the Heights Country Club in Tampa, semi-private simulator. A great place. If you haven't checked it out, search up the Heights Country Club. They got putting greens. They got a Pro TV sim. They got pool tables, card tables, and a few lounges. Man, it's a great place, great vibes. Today, we're talking with Brock LaBelle, and Brock is Dr. Golf. So we're going to be talking about health and fitness and golf, and what what impacts is going on with these tour players now that are just fit as can be. Dr. Golf, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So fantastic. So tell me a little bit about your background and what you did before kind of golf and why you started Dr. Golf.
Sure. So I grew up in a golf family. Love the game. My whole family loves the game. I still play with my parents every week. So very much the culture I grew up in. I ended up playing hockey actually in college. Always knew I wanted to be a physical therapist. Went to PT school. Got all board certified. Got everything I needed to get done there. As soon as I could do that, I got into the TPI program. Took all the courses I needed to take on that side. Really just try to weave myself back into the game of golf, but doing the things that I love, which is physical therapy.
Oh, fantastic. So this is Jeff Stanislow, and you're listening to Let's Go Low, brought to you by Golfers Unite on AM 820 every Saturday morning, where we're bringing you people that are in the golf world, talking about equipment, talking about fitness, talking about working on your game, and and we featuring Mike Hicks with the Caddy's Corner every week. So thanks for joining us again, and we're talking with Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. And so coming from a family of golfers, you probably recognize that staying healthy is pretty important to golf. How has that manifested over the years from maybe when you started, playing golf, or with your dad, and the types of things that he's doing now, maybe in prevention or strengthening versus what years past were?
Yeah, I think it's really reached its, I don't think it's, going to peak and come back down, but I think we're in a moment right now with even all of the tour guys are traveling with physios, traveling with training guys, strength training guys. Everything has become such a round the clock style approach to improving your game of golf. And I think that goes all the way down to just an amateur level, or just picking up the game, playing on the weekend for fun. Not only you don't need to train and do the things that Rory does and what Scotty does. It doesn't need to go to that level, but just to have your body prepared to play a member guest, to play your weekend rounds with your buddies. It's something I think is missing in the amateur world. As you can see, the pro world has gone completely that way. They're all fit as can be. I think, Cam Young's 375-yard drive yesterday will be the kind of the that's kind of our moment of we've dialed everything in, and a lot of people look at what they're doing from a swing coach and what they're doing from equipment, but our body's the missing link, and it's got to hold up all that stuff that we can implement with a teaching pro with our equipment, and it's the first thing that gives out on us too. So to be healthy, to be fit, to stay strong, it's a game that we all love to do, and we want to play it late into our life. So trying to set people up for success on that front.
I think you're exactly right. We're talking with Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. Yesterday I was actually at the Players, and I got to see that drive in person, and it was just monumental. But walking the course and seeing these players and just seeing how fit they are, how strong they are, how much they take care of their bodies, it was incredible. I actually had clubhouse access and was in there, and there's, you know, people, there's physical therapists around, there's massage people, all these people, you know, that are going out there and working with these players. So what you're doing is spot on, and everybody wants to play golf longer. As myself, I'm getting a little bit older, and so I noticed that, you know, before I used to just grab the club and go. Now I got to do some stretching, and if not, I'm pretty sore after. So Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the TPI? So you're TPI certified. Tell us what kind of, like, what's behind the scenes of doing that. I'm sure our listeners have heard it or maybe know someone, but you know, what behind the scenes really went into becoming TPI certified, and then what is the, you know, kind of outcomes of what you can do for players?
So, you know, there's a lot of different avenues in which you can go in. What TPI is built on is basically a triangle, and the player sits in the middle of that triangle. So there's the medical side, the strength side, and then the golf side. What you're supposed to do is marry the other professions, essentially, to all work with one, so everybody's speaking one similar language and working on the same goals based on that player. So from my side, the medical side, it's a full, like, toes to head breakdown of how the joints in the body move, whether they're strong enough, stable enough to complete the golf swing and play the game pain-free. So it's a full assessment, full body assessment, how that relates to your specific swing. That's looking at swing video and breakdown of that and the movements that you make. That's all part of it. And then how can we build up a program that keeps you either doing that or correct the imperfections and things like that, just to make sure that we're staying at our healthiest all the way through. So
Sure.
yeah, one big course, you can subset in deeper into that, which has been a fun thing to do. And then, yeah, it's just becoming, what it does is generates a full training program. So this could be a, you know, 7-day-a-week program if you wanted it to be. It could be a 2-day-a-week if you wanted it to be. So
Right.
based on finding those imperfections and then just making them stronger.
How long did it take you? We're talking with Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. How long did the TPI certification program take you to facilitate? It's not something you just go take an hour test and you're done. It's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Yep. So luckily for the people taking the course, it's an online course to get started. But that online course took me probably over the course of a month to complete and go through all the different training modules, all the different things. And then you do have to pass that board kind of license exam, if you will, a TPI certification exam. And then that just gives you the foundation to then practice it, to implement it. That takes, you know, a lot of people, a lot of golfers, a lot of eyes, talking with the community to make sure that you are seeing the right things. And then
Right.
you start to develop some skill after that.
Okay, so the certification, but you probably have a leg up, you know, because of your background. Why don't you tell, we're talking with Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. Tell us a little bit about your background in therapy in the golf world. And then maybe like a couple of the tips to our listeners that they may want to try to do before they go out and start playing and prep. You know, some basic, you know, stretches that they should do every time they go before they go.
Sure. So by trade, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, which is where the Dr. Golf tag comes from. Like I said, I wanted to get the foundation of what physical therapy is and really, really hone in on golfers, and which is where my business has become. So the physical therapy clinic that I run is called Competitive Edge. Dr. Golf lives within of Competitive Edge as just a lane to find us. And then Dr. Golf has its own socials and things like that for people to gain interest, essentially, and learn on social. All I do is post tips and tricks, things that you can follow along with, and you can see some of what those tips are that you're talking about, pre-round stretching, things like that. But I think the biggest thing people talk about in golf is low back pain. I guess the clinical nugget there would be that all starts from your hips. If your hips aren't opened up, if they're not mobile enough, it'll manifest in your back. So open up your hips, mobilize the hips, stretch hips and all the surrounding musculature. That'd be your best bet for keeping low back pain away.
I know it's on the radio, but we're talking with Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. You're listening to Jeff Stanislow here on AM 820. Every Saturday morning, 8 a.m., we're bringing you great information in the golf world, and hopefully you guys are really enjoying it. If you have any interest in being on the show, or you want to tune in from someplace else other than Tampa on AM 820, you can go to golfersunite.com/radio and check out the streaming link. And then we also put this stuff up on our YouTube channel as well. And there's a link to there if you want to catch up on some of our previous episodes. So Brock, just a simple stretch. We're on the radio, but you said, you mentioned most people have lower back pain. So you're getting ready to tee off, you're hitting some balls or getting ready to hit some balls. Any particular type of stretch that they should really do? Is it just a simple, like, bend over, touch your toes and hold it for 5 seconds? Maybe a couple things that you can give our audience.
So bending over, touching toes is a good one. It's one of the tests actually that we look at. It's a big measure of how mobile we are through our posterior chain, which it has to be for the golf swing. But your big ones like hip flexors, open up hip flexors, half kneeling, hip flexor stretch. Just get down on one knee, push the pelvis forward. That'll stretch the front side of the hips, helps us rotate, keeps us not so bound down on the front side. And then our like figure four, cross an ankle over to the opposite knee, just hinge forward from there, stretch the piriformis backside of the hip. If you can get touch toes, figure four, half kneeling, something to open up the hip flexor, those are three that are going to set you up for a lot of success. But the big missing piece, you want to do something dynamic, something mobile, not just static. So be moving through that. I wouldn't say ballistic where you're bouncing into end ranges, but something where you're smoothly going through things. You want to prep your body for movement. The golf swing's a violent act when you're doing it at the peak ability. So get the tissue moving, not just holding end range positions.
Fantastic. Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf. This is Jeff Stanislow, and you're listening to Let's Go Low here, brought to you by Golfers Unite, live from the Heights Country Club. You guys get a chance to check it out. Semi-private sim here in Seminole Heights. Really great place. It's got pool tables, card rooms, lounges, putting area, and featured a Pro TV simulator. You guys can get out here and you can have events. You can play matches on GS Pro with others. So it's a fantastic place to check out. So just search up the Heights Country Club and check it out. Dr. Golf, Brock LaBelle, how does someone want to reach out to you if they want to connect with you and maybe engage in your service, or do you do it virtually as well?
So virtual is coming. That's thanks for the release there. We're currently everything's in person. I can manage programs through the app. TPI is a whole platform, virtual platform, but virtual sessions are going to start coming soon. Full online programming is going to start coming soon. Right now we are in South Tampa and in Oldsmar, West Chase area. So at Dr.Golf, Dr.Golf _ on Instagram, you'll be able to find us. Send me a direct message there. We'll get started that day.
Fantastic. I'll also put that at our website, golfersunite.com/radio. You'll see a link there coming here pretty soon with all of our people that have been on the radio show and sharing this great information. Again, this is Jeff Stanislow, and you're listening to Let's Go Low here on AM 820, live from the Heights Country Club. Brock, when you talk about heat and cool, I mean, that's a lot of people like, oh, I just got done playing. I got to, put ice on it, or I got to heat. What is your best recommendation from like before golf to after golf and like, a heat and cool type strategy?
So best thing you want to think about is if you think your muscle is like a rubber band, if you're getting ready to go do an activity, if you want that rubber band to be cold, or do you want that rubber band to be warmed up, hot and elastic? So pre-rounds would always be something warm, something heat, something mobile, if you will. After, ice is really good for inflammation, for pain signaling. So if there is something that pops up after the round, you'd want to go the cold route, but no cold pre-round.
Very good. That's a really good way to think about it, just like a rubber band. Jeff Stanislow, listening to Let's Go Low here, brought to you by Golfers Unite. So Brock, from Dr. Golf, we talked a little bit about some stretches. We talked a little bit about heat and cold. We talked about what is the most common thing that amateur golfers just do that they shouldn't do at all when it comes down to their body. I mean, you mentioned that golf is an act of violent with the swing, but when you see it, what makes you cringe?
straight from the car to the first tee typically, and then I'm coming at it at a picture of health and wellness, and my lane is getting people ready to play the game and play it pain free. So those are the opportunities when we sit in the car and we just try to rush over to the first tee. We don't warm up. Those are the times where injuries are going to occur. And I think truly there's nobody that you can really get upset with other than yourself if you're not doing the right things beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's really good advice. All those trunk slammers out there, that are just fly on the course and fly off the course. Get there a little early, do a little stretching. Worst case scenario, take a few swings on the first tee and some stretching. I mean, 5 minutes and you're going to have a much better round, and you're not going to be as sore from golfing. So this is Jeff Stanislaw, and this is another episode of Let's Go Low, brought to you by Golfers Unite. Get a chance to check out golfersunite.com. We're launching our store. We're going to be putting some great products up there, and some special discounts. And if you want to be on the radio show, just go to golfersunite.com/radio and you can check it out. Brock LaBelle, Dr. Golf, thanks for joining us here today on Let's Go Low.
Yeah, thanks for having me.